Model, muse, surrealist, photographer, a chronicler and survivor of war. A woman who did it all when women weren't meant to do it all. With a click and the flash of a bulb, Lee Miller was a trailblazer, now with a vast retrospective at the Tate Britain. So Anthony, how does it feel seeing all this for the first time?
It's a wonderful feeling when Lee is on the wall like this and people meet her, then it's stimulating and inspiring.
Anthony Penrose is Lee Miller's son. For years he was unaware of his mother's talents. After documenting the end of the Second World War and traumatised by what she had witnessed, she hid her work away, only to be discovered after her death in 1977.
She just stashed everything in these big cardboard boxes, tied them 4 ways with string, and hid them in the attic. I think there was a lot of things going on, but the main one was what we today understand as being post-traumatic stress disorder. I think she wanted to escape from the memories that were encapsulated in a lot of those images.
In recent years, her work has finally begun to receive the recognition it deserves. Her life was celebrated in a feature film, with Miller portrayed by Kate Winslet. Born in New York State in 1907, Miller's journey began with a chance encounter with Condé Nast, who helped put her on the front cover of Vogue. Do you think her beauty, her good looks were both a help and a hindrance?
Undoubtedly, yes. Because she was so beautiful, it was always a challenge to get people to take her seriously. They just thought that she was an adornment for their lives.
But Miller was a force of nature and talent. Not satisfied in front of the camera, she wanted the autonomy of being behind it. She became part of Europe's avant-garde, a muse and collaborator with Man Ray, a friend of Pablo Picasso, and at the cutting edge of surrealism. Is it a sort of a joining of both her photographic artistic talent as well as her sort of interest in surrealism?
The two were inseparable right from the start. She was a surrealist. You know, I think before the movement even had a name, because she had that kind of attitude and that kind of wonderment at finding the marvellous in things.
It was during the war that Miller found new energy and purpose. She documented the Blitz for Vogue before embedding with Allied forces for the liberation of France and the fall of Nazi Germany.
She loved being in the midst of everything, but for her the purpose of the war was to defeat Hitler. This was her way of fighting back. The camera was her weapon of choice.
And so this is, well, arguably some of her most famous work, from when she made it to Germany and Munich.
And the most devastatingly upsetting, because we have here the shots that she took in Buchenwald and Dachau of that absolutely appalling suffering and death that was taking place in those camps. You have to realize that when she arrived in Paris, so many of her friends were missing. And so as she was going around these places, she was looking into the faces of the dead and the dying to see if any of them were her missing friends from Paris. And I think that gives her the reason to be so examining of everything that's in front of her.
The famous image of Miller in Adolf Hitler's bathtub in Munich is rich with symbolism.
The key is the boots on the bath mat. Because the morning of this day, those boots had carried Lee Miller around Dachau, and now she's stamping the filth of that place into Hitler's nice, pristine bath mat. She's a victor, metaphorically grinding her heel into his face.
In the present climate of Europe and in America, there is a lot of talk about similarities, potentially, with the 1930s. Populism, fascism. How do you think your mother would have interpreted today?
She'd be both heartbroken and furious. And she'd be out in London photographing the right-wing marches and that sort of stuff, and trying to show people this is the danger. This is what we fought a whole world war to escape from. And now we're going right back down that avenue. I think she would be absolutely heartbroken to see that.
This exhibition runs in the UK until February, before heading to museums in France and America. The 3 countries she called home, all now honouring Lee Miller's legacy.